And we're at Hidden Valley. They're lining up for the first of the Legends of Motorsport race, the final showdown, and they are alive and well. They're happening and it's off and racing. The boys in the HQs, the Legends of Motorsport. The man leads them away. Jimmy Richards was the fastest in qualifying, and it looks like a problem for one of our HQs. Stuck in gear, stuck out of gear, can't find a gear. We'll find out who that is for you shortly as they make their way through the first part of this track. Now out through the back, dust flying, smoke from the locked up tyres working very well, and it's Brian Nixon who leads them through on the first lap of this one. It's Brian Nixon ahead of Ronnie Harrop. Ronnie Harrop, of course, one of the legends in engineering in motor racing here in Australia. He's running second at the moment to Darwin's very own Brian Nixon, who's looking strong and well ahead at the moment on his home track. That's his advantage, I should imagine. He is home and hosed at the moment, and it is the first part of the first race of the Legends of Motorsport. Brian Nixon being run down by Alan Grice, and Phil Brock's there as well. Don't forget Phil Brock. He's about 4 or 5 cars back at the moment, battling it out with Peter Brock. You can see him now on the screen by the armco on this big long main straight here at Hidden Valley, and Peter Brock and Phil Brock, split pin as he's known across the world. There's Brian Nixon leading once again ahead of Ronnie Harrop. You'll find Ronnie Harrop coming into view very shortly. There he is now, and working very hard is Ronnie Harrop. I think you'll find that's Alan Grice who's stuck his nose up in there as well. And the battle further back, now there's the two brothers, the Brock brothers, battling it out with Phil Brock just trying to find his way around Peter Brock. Still Brian Nixon leading us through Thrifty there. Brian Nixon still leading this one and looking very strongly. In fact, I don't think he's going to get pipped in a big hurry as he makes his way through, but all up and over the curbing there. Looked like Jimmy Richards. Now Jimmy Richards, as you will remember, was the fastest man on the track in qualifying. They set the qualifying up earlier in the day, and they're looking very strong out there at the moment. Is Jimmy Richards making his way through the field? Will he be able to make his way up? I'm not sure. The HQ's hard to drive. They certainly do test the skills and the reactions of the drivers. Phil Brock further back there, now looking right on the back of brother Peter. So a split pin taking on Peter Brock. This is what we came to see, the Legends of Motorsport putting on a show for us. Still Brian Nixon, Ronnie Harrop, and now Jimmy Richards. There's Jimmy Richards with a little bit of a lock up there. Looks strong though, and he's up into 4th position already. So look out, Jimmy Richards is working well. Should I say 4th? No, it should be 3rd. He's right up in there, and so too is Phil Brock. He's giving Peter Brock, the legend of Australian motorsport, a run for his money there at the moment. And still, the battle continues. 51, looking very strong. Shivers. But he's looking very strong there indeed. Is Brian Nixon still ahead of Ronnie Harrop? That's the man I was trying to think of, Ronnie Harrop. So it's Brian Nixon and Ronnie Harrop looking very strong. Brian Nixon, the local man, the man who's spent most of his life here in the top end in motorsport, doing a great job of supporting and building what is a great track. Through comes Shivers. So, Dougie Shivers, he is, of course, one of the legends of Australian motorsport. You remember him back in the days of Bathurst, pushing the Tirana into the pits. Out of fuel it was. Still Brian Nixon and Ronnie Harrop. Ronnie Harrop in 2nd place. No, Jimmy Richards now looking up there and starting to make a move. It looks like Split Pin has got a little closer now to Peter Brock, brother Peter, the king of the mountains. So I think you'll find Phil Brock will be starting to put a move on him very shortly, really putting the pressure on brother Peter as they flash by once again. Looking very strongly is still Brian Nixon as they come through that Thrifty area of this Hidden Valley track. The 71 car leading this race, race 1 of the Legends of Motorsport. A big brake lock up there for Gricey as he comes into the picture, and our leader is still Brian Nixon. Peter Brock looking over his shoulder to see what's happening. That's what's happened. Peter Brock's gone in for a big spin there. He's missed everybody and everybody's missed him, and he'll try and pull the car back on to the track, but he's going to go back a number of places. This is going to be hard to try and recover this. Peter Brock, Peter perfect, not so perfect here at Hidden Valley. Brian Nixon still leading. Jim Richards now up into 2nd position. He'll put the pressure on him now as they get through there. So remember, fastest qualifier. Jim Richards now in 2nd position. Local man with local knowledge leading this one still is Brian Nixon, a man with about 20 years experience here in Darwin and has done a fabulous job of supporting what is a great sport. And he's Gary Rogers there being touched up by Johnny Goss. Look out! Oh, they're getting serious in these HQs now. Here's our leader. Nixon, Brian Nixon, and Jimmy Richards has made up a lot of ground on him. And remember, he fell back about midfield. Now Richards has been able to make up that ground again. He had a little bit of an off earlier in the race, and Jimmy Richards, Gentleman Jim, so they like to call him, has really made up a lot of ground. And it's all Nixon. The Demet Tools car looking very strong, but look out, there's Richards right with him at the moment. There's going to be a move here. On the inside he'll go. Can he pull this one off? Jimmy Richards on the inside, and they're coming towards the big hairpin turn there, and I think you'll find Jimmy Richards is still putting the pressure on Nixon. So Brian Nixon working well, holding out one of the hard charges. This must be the most amazing thing for Brian Nixon. He's never raced against Jim Richards before, and he's got Jimmy Richards trying everything he can. He's all over him. He's underneath him. He's on top of him. He's trying everything he can to get through. What's going to be the outcome? And onto the main straight they come, and Jim Richards has made his way through. Somewhere through those S-bends, Jim Richards has been able to make his way through. They're on their last lap, and I should say it won't be long before we'll come to an end of this as they come back towards the back end part of the track. It's Jimmy Richards ahead of Brian Nixon. Brian Nixon's had this in the bag, but Jimmy Richards, the man, I've got to say, he has got to be one of the best tin top drivers in the country, if not the world. The ex-New Zealander out there and doing a great job here in the top end. Brian Nixon now second to Jimmy Richards. Jimmy Richards looking very strong now. The car absolutely starting to pull away. The HWE car, the 83 HQ Holden, and of course Jimmy Richards hasn't spent a lot of time in HQ either, so it looks like it's Jimmy Richards ahead of Brian Nixon. Brian Nixon doing a great job of holding onto the back bar of Jimmy Richards, but I don't think he's going to have enough in him. There's Bartlett as well. Kev Bartlett, what a legend, out of the Camaro and into what is an HQ Holden. Peter Brock goes by, and the checkered flag, the win's going to go to Jimmy Richards. Well done to Jimmy Richards. Second place will go to Brian Nixon. Third will be Gricey. Phil Brock and Ronnie Harrop round out the finish for that one. As the cars come off, let's just recap the excitement of race one, as Phil Brock talks us through the first 5 laps with a view from inside Brother Peter's car.
Okay, here we are now, the Legends of Motorsport. That's me right in front of Peter there, Phil Brock in the number 25 HQ. So it's a bit of my last chance, I think, to actually see if I can knock little brother off. So we'll see how we go in this race. It's going to be on. As you can see, we've qualified a bit down the near the back. I think I was at 9th and Peter was 11th. So we'll just see how we go here. Well, first corner, cold tyres, a bit of a lock-up, but that's pretty normal. There was Peter inside of Gary Rogers. Here I am, of course, showing him the right line through the traffic, of course. The big thing with the HQs is you can pass other cars because of the way the cars run, but it's pretty rare that you pass any more than 1 or 2 cars per lap. I think I'm trying to flat spot every tyre I've got. Oh, look, you see that there, John Harvey has quite a half loose coming out, which knocked my speed off badly, and Pete there goes past John and gets a little bit of a run on me, and as you can see, he's just gradually easing past me, and I think he's pretty happy about that. That's Graham Bolter from South Australia, who he's trying to pass here. Just keeping an eye on the split pin in the mirror there, just making sure I'm not going to do something too silly. You know, in Peter's 30 years of driving, I think he's always had that right elbow up on the windowsill. I don't know how he does it. Now you can see he's got a bit of a run on Graham here, so gradually pull out there. And he'll come past this other shot here. You'll see just getting inside of it, which that stage is pretty well sort of game over as far as getting the next corner. That is myself actually going down the outside, having a bit of a attempt at getting through. I was working on the fact if I can just stay on the outside of the highway until we get to about here in the corner, then I've got the run up through the next two corners, but it unfortunately didn't work that time. You can see Pete's closing up then these next couple of cars up here, which a bit hard to tell, but I think it's Gricey is the next car up, and Jim Richards in front of him. You can hear that inside back wheel just spinning there. It's very important, that hairpin there, to try and get through there so that you don't lift it up, that inside back wheel up, because we have to run a standard diff. We're not allowed to run lock diffs or whatever, so it's pretty critical how we come out of those corners. So you can see there Pete's getting a little bit of opposite lock through that turn 10 there, which is a very deceptive corner. Now coming on the main straight, the attempt is to try and get on the power as early as possible, to try and get up behind the cars in front to get a bit of a slingshot. Now I'm fairly close to Peter at the back here, so he's just moving over, just covering the line, just so that I can't get down the inside of him. But you see he's sitting there going, yeah, come on Pete, have a go. Which I did again, of course. Another go on the outside. And as you can see, it didn't work again. And it's pretty hard doing that, because you're really overheating the tyres. You're putting a lot more pressure on when you're trying to pass on the outside. So if you don't make it pretty quick, you don't bother trying to do it again. There goes the elbow again. Now he's trying to get that real clean run out there to get a bit of a toe down the straight. Because as I say, the cars are very equal in horsepower, but if you can get in some clean air, it's pretty good. Now he's pulled over to the left here a little bit. Obviously, I've tried to make a bit of a run up the inside coming out of the corner. Remember this part, I was right up his backside within about 2 inches or so, and working on the fact, well, come on, people. Oh, I've run straight at the back of him. But we actually got past a couple of cars there, so it worked pretty well. As you can see, I think he's sitting there going, split pin, what are you doing? I think I was waving at him at the same time going, sorry, I didn't quite mean to hit you that hard. As you see, the level of concentration there is, and that's what it's all about, to try and make these cars go quick, is really putting in the right spot. Now I think you find that Pete might have a slight problem up in this corner this time. Just overcooked it a bit. Well, I have to sit there and go, well, I finished the race in front of him, so I can't complain too much. Well, here we go, back on the track again, and obviously he's lost most of the positions there, but it just shows that even the old Peter Perfect can make a blue here and there. Most of the guys thought that I actually hit him there, but I didn't. That was, yeah, one of those things. I think you'll see here he's going to say to the pit crew, sorry guys, I just overcooked it. Anyway, great race.